What's been my favorite character point of view to write in the next book? Has it changed from book to book? Will there be any chapters from Andross Guile's point of view? And one other question that is much, much harder than those. Hi, I'm Brent Weeks, author of the Night Angel trilogy and the Lightbringer series. If you're just here to see the answer to one of those questions, you'll find links to jump to the time of each question in the description below. This video is my monthly Q&A for the month of May 2018. We'll be attempting to put these videos out at the beginning of each month until I either get very good at it or rage quit. Now, I'm not sure how long and digressive you want me to be in my answers, or even how polished, so I will be experimenting. This is all new to me, so please do judge me ferociously against the standard of, say, a veteran news anchor, rather than against the standard of a high school introvert who would rather face a book than human beings. Now, I've never been one to dodge tough questions, unless doing so would cause misery for readers. So let me take on a really tough one that I've gotten a lot. Most recently from Tracy. Brent, what happened to the epic fantasy author beard? With all due credit to my big fat Greek wedding, the beard was a phase I was going through. Until now. It took an intervention from my 3-year-old daughter for me to sort myself out. She came to me one night and gently took my face in her hands and said, "Daddy, I think you'd look better with a short beard." Now, I may not be a smart man, but I like to think I learn quickly from my superiors. So in fashion, I'll be deferring henceforth to my daughter. Now, that actually did happen, but really, I'd probably blame the beard on too many hours pushing pixels around with character creation menus in Skyrim. I did have this flaming red beard, and I've always been curious what I'd look like if I grew it out really long. So I stayed in my personal character creation menu for about 2 years and grew one out. But then the color options were just not at all what I'd been promised. Red streaked with gray, and then streaked with white? Seriously? So after 2 years of trying to get my character just right, I said screw it and hit the randomize features button. And that's how you all get to look at this. Sorry. Next question. Joshua Palucha says, question, who has been your favorite character overall to write for in the current book? Has this been a constant throughout the series, or has it changed book to book? It changes, which is a great thing. I learn new things about my characters as I spend years with them. And as they come into new challenges, some grow and some shrink from growing because it's too painful. I knew an older writer who helped me out early on, who was a veteran, and he'd done some pretty intense stuff in Vietnam that they called long-range reconnaissance and patrol. And he said, it's impossible to be brave every day. That you would fail some days, and some days you'd be a hero. My characters are like that. They fail sometimes. And then the same character may also succeed gloriously. Which means that which one of them is doing the most interesting stuff changes from book to book and even from section to section. Now, I take it as a challenge whenever I write a chapter that's necessary to the book or to the series as a whole, but maybe isn't intrinsically as interesting as other parts, to make it more interesting. That's a fundamental part of my job. 2,000 years ago, the Roman writer Horace said that the purpose of literature is to delight and teach. Now, I can talk about the didactic element some other time if you like, but even in the quote, the delight part comes first. And believe me, providing delight is challenging enough. If you've ever read a book and come across long stretches where it's just boring, it may well be that the author has failed in their first responsibility as they're looking at other things. But it could also be that you're missing something because you're not paying attention. Or it could be that you're simply the wrong audience. Say you're 13 years old and you're reading the Brothers Karamazov, like I did. And I only finished because I'm really stubborn, not because I'm super bright. Well, although, never mind. Regardless, when I find that I've written a section that I like less than another section, I asked myself if there's any way I can make it more interesting while still fulfilling all the functions that the novel needs it to do. And thus, I do something that's fairly risky in terms of my very coddled existence in this book. And this will actually answer Cody Whitmer's question. Cody says, question, love or hate him, Andross Guile is a mastermind and a major cog in the series' wheels. Will there be any chapters from his point of view? So here's the risk I'm taking. The answer is yes. So Joshua, the answer is that Andross Guile has been a ton of fun to write in this book. But why did I just say there's a risk in writing a character who I can be pretty certain will command intense reader interest? That's because when a character has been vastly influential but rarely seen, he or she is mysterious. Readers fill in those blanks powerfully. And when the writer comes along and fills in the blanks his way later, readers can reject it. No, that doesn't fit what he'd be like. Or a powerful character can actually be diminished rather than only humanized. So there's a broad spectrum of possible failures, not only on the author's side, but on the reader's side as well. So, and at worst, you readers could end up, staging an intervention, taking my head in your hands and saying, Brenty, I think you'd look better with a short book. Well, I hope not. Thanks for tuning in. See you next month.